Welcome back, guys, to another episode of the Bow Nerds podcast, where Jared wants me to do the intro because he said I'm good at it. So that's why you got a little enthusiastic. No, I'm absolutely, genuinely thrilled to have another episode. I have been craving conversations with Jared and just having bow talk again. So being a bow nerd, we just had an hour-long conversation talking about gear and tech, and I was like, push freaking record.
Should have recorded.
So we are back on.
Yeah. We're gonna have to rewind a little bit.
Yeah, I think. Yeah, what were we even talking? We were just talking about some helical broadheads.
I started off because I was laughing at how many people you irritated with your flagship bow you just posted on YouTube.
So I pissed off some people because I posted a China bow, a Sanlita archery. Genuinely, it's not that bad. It's pretty epic. It's a very cheap bow, but they call it their flagship bow. Model's the Dragon X. Check it out on my YouTube, and you can see it. But it's somebody called it the Timu Hoyt. It's like a backwards looking Hoyt, and it's $449. And like, you have the specs are like 27 to 32 inches, 60 to 70 pounds. The bow weight is 5 pounds. Let off 80%. Like it's a solid platform bow. Paper tuned like a dream. Like, it paper tuned super nice and quick. Even with a way over stiff arrow. It was doing the 250s from my old method archery arrows.
Mm-hmm.
Paper tuned right away, and then shot it out to 30 yards, and it was zero complaints. I mean, you can tell that it's not like high end, top tier quality, but like, you're not spending $2,000 on it. So yeah, I posted that, and people did not like it.
No.
Made some jokes, and yeah, definitely pissed off some people, which, I like to do.
Yeah, one of the comments, what are you, sponsored by Sanlita now?
I shouldn't. Yeah, absolutely. This is what I'm shooting all day, man. I was talking to Brandon McDonald about it when I went to the shop, and he was like, yeah, oh my gosh, what's his freaking name? Bow Disciples. They reached out to him, and he was like, dude, I can't get behind that. There's no way. I can't be known to have that. And I was like, dude, Brandon, have you ever shot one of these? Like, I have the one that's off Amazon for $199. I would buy that for any kid or even my wife. Like, I probably wouldn't hunt with it myself, but if for somebody that's getting into archery, it's really not. It's not bad. $199, and you get everything. I just recommend not shooting the arrows because they are spined probably 6,000. So it's like shooting a spaghetti noodle. But dude, it's surprisingly pretty sick. I mean, I sold. So I have Amazon links, and I just linked my Amazon link right in my YouTube video. So I have the statistics.
Mm-hmm.
I sold over the Christmas season, November, December, I think 20 or 30 of those bows. Yeah. People, and the video, it's funny. This will kind of get into the YouTube statistics. If you're wanting to do YouTube, like, the importance of paying attention to stuff, is I posted a video of, it was the $199 bow, the cheap, very cheap bow. I posted it, and typically when I post a video, like, I'll get at least a couple thousand views within the first week, like minimum, on a bow video. And this one got like 300 views, and it had been like 2 months. And I was like, what the freak happened? So then I just went back, I changed the thumbnail, changed the title, and then it blew up to about 40,000 views, and kind of stayed consistent right there until October, November, December this last season. And I think I just relate it to the Christmas season. People are looking for beginner bows and researching and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And it got 100,000 views in the last 2 months. And yeah, it just blew up. And then all my links blew up, and Amazon was paying me like $400 in a month to, like, so like, don't, this is going down a whole YouTube rabbit hole. Don't feel bad if your video sucks. Like, if it doesn't take off, look at the analytics, look at what you can change, and then see what, like, play with it. Don't be scared to, like, test things out. And now YouTube actually has a thumbnail testing. I don't know if you've seen this, Jared.
I haven't, no.
You can upload 3 thumbnails, and it'll run a 2-week process of seeing which one is getting the most clicks. And it will give you the report, and then you keep the one that does the best. And so I did that with this last one. This is the first time I've done it, and so I'm letting it sit for the next 2 weeks and do the report on it, which it's like that is like the number one thing for YouTube is the thumbnail and then the title, and then you got to connect the tags to it to make sure it's searchable, and you try to tie those all in to the same thing, so then YouTube pushes it out because it has good analytics. And the stats on that last video that I did of the 449 bow that I was just talking about,
The Timu Hoyt.
Yeah, the Timu Hoyt. I'll pull it up because I don't know. I have gotten a lot of questions about YouTube and like what works, and I have taken a lot of like stupid courses to try to learn. It's always changing, obviously, but
I mean, I know I always reach out to you and ask because I have no idea.
yeah, I mean, like, so I've got almost 14,000 subs. My subscription feed only 141 views out of my subscribers for the Timu Hoyt, right? YouTube recommendations, and I think this is due to I did pretty good with correlating the thumbnail with the title, with the tags, with the description. YouTube recommendations got 1,500 views from that. So YouTube's pushing that out more than my subscribers are watching. YouTube search, not as much, only 75 views. So like you can't, there is a little science to it. You can't, and again, I just posted this one yesterday. You can't just throw a video out there, not put the time and work into it. The video itself, you don't have to make like the most production looking video. Like that part does not matter as much as what you're putting in the information bar. So I'll go more into depth just because I'm really running down this rabbit hole.
We're here. Let's do it.
Holy
We're
crap.
transitioning into this.
We'll get into some hunts
I'm learning,
and tech
so
tips.
it's fine.
So your thumbnail has got to catch the attention, right? So I don't think I uploaded them to my phone, and I can't really pull them up. So I did like the Amazon logo so people could understand that you can buy the bow off Amazon in the thumbnail, but I didn't do that in the title because I didn't necessarily want that in the title. But in the title so it's important to have the same keywords in your title. So my title is most affordable bow is cheap better. I guess I did put Amazon. I lied. Amazon compound bow. That's my title. But then in the description, I did the same exact words. No, I didn't. Not in that one. I lied. I just lied. It was the other one I just posted. The dialed proof, which that one I had to mess with a few different thumbnails because it did not. This one's not performing, and again, I'm probably going to change title. Once I did change the title once, and it got a couple more views from that, I think. But the importance of going, I'm just basically just making crap up at this point because obviously I didn't do it in this video, and it worked.
Well, you had me change some stuff on a video one time with the thumbnail and title and stuff, and it definitely did way better than what it was doing for the whole like 6 or 7 months. So
yeah,
there's a lot of validity to what you're saying.
Someone that does thumbnails very, very well, and I attribute it to their success because they are so freaking good at thumbnails. Seek One and Bomars and the Bomars, absolutely, like Bomars, 10 out of 10 with their thumbnails.
Oh yeah.
But Seek One, if you go on their YouTube and just look at their thumbnails, what is it? It's freaking giant bucks every single time. So if you like my Pennsylvania deer, I shot a little dink. That one did crap because my thumbnail was a dink. My Arizona hunt, yeah, there's Jared showing the video. They're all just monster freaking whitetail, and they really emphasize. And again, there is a little bit of editing with it to where you can mess with what pops in those photos, right? So the antlers pop, and obviously, if you see a 200-inch buck on a thumbnail, you're going to click it. And again, like you've got to kill 200-inch deer to have those thumbnails, and those guys freaking crush it.
Look, I mean, the Bomars, they take time on their thumbnails, right?
Yep. Right. I mean, you've got the shooter in a shot that with the African animals, huge crocodiles, huge leopard.
Sarah riding a crocodile.
turkey's head getting chopped off in slow-mo, 5,000 frames a second, whatever it is.
Yeah. Well, then if we pull up my videos, my 2 best videos, I mean, I don't think there's any coincidence that Braxen did the thumbnails on them.
I do like
The
building
one is
thumbnails.
the Bearathon one. So that one.
That one was pretty dope.
We don't
Clicked
need to
it.
watch that. You can watch it later. If you
Watch an ad. No, you got to watch the ad so
Then-
you can get your
and-
money.
Oh, shoot. And then the goat killer one.
That one was pretty bad A. So the goat killer, so if you're watching the video, you see it, but I'll kind of explain. So Jared took a super bad A photo of just of the mountain near the unit that they were hunting. And then I took a separate photo of the hunter carrying the cougar on his back and cut him from that photo, took him over to the cinematic looking picture, and then I put goat killer on the horizon. It like lined up perfect, but hid it behind the layer of the guy. So then it kind of pops and just really shows that cougar. And that's what you want the attention to, is this monster mountain lion. And the reason why it's called goat killer is that cat was literally killing goats on a farm, that day or the day before or something.
Oh yeah, for
So like
the day before and then like that whole week.
I try to like portray the story without being clickbait. Like when you see a thumbnail, I want it to be really what it is. I'm not one that supports the clickbait. Well, I have done it saying
How often do you
Matthews sucks.
click on a hunting video? Yeah, you did do that one. Yeah, he got me with that one too. Even though he's my best friend, I was like, bruh. Matthews
Like, watch
does
the
not suck.
video. It was clickbait, okay? I said, what bow was it? Phase 4? I was like, Phase 4 sucks.
Yeah.
And I just did that as my thumbnail. And dude, that video crushed.
Yeah. Well, yeah, because us Matthews guys are sensitive.
Yeah, Matthews guys are a little something. The YouTube Studio changed their app a weedle be it. Let's see.
Yeah, I mean, when you're scrolling through YouTube and you click on something, like you see a big old bull on somebody's thumbnail, you fully expect for that bull to be in this hunting video. And when it's not, it's pretty frustrating.
Yeah.
So,
100%.
but they got you to watch it, so I guess.
So I guess it does work.
It
does work, but then you get people that are pissed, and so they don't come back.
And I probably won't go. I won't go watch their other stuff.
Yeah, you're not going to subscribe. So that is one thing that Bomars do really well, is they have a clickbaity thumbnail, but they execute it in the video. Same with like another big YouTuber, Whistling Diesel. He gets a lot of hate, but like his thumbnails are out of this world, but his videos are out of this world. Like throwing a freaking jet engine on a mini truck. That's the thumbnail, which you probably would think was fake, and he actually did
it. Yeah, or destroying a Hilux. Saddest video ever.
Dude, I love that. I love that truck, guys. Rabbit hole number 1, check.
Yeah.
All right.
Should we just keep going down the social media rabbit hole? We've got people ask us all
Yeah.
the time.
People do ask it. So let me tell you how much I make. $0.
I make $0 on Instagram.
You have to freaking grind, like,
dude.
And
if you're not in it for the right reasons, you'll get so burnt out.
It's not about the money. It is not about. And don't get me wrong. Like, have there been times where in my head it became about the money? Absolutely. And guess what time I failed the biggest? That time. When I stopped caring about making $1 and just doing the content because I love it and I love being with my buddies and hunting and shooting bows. Like, then all of a sudden things start clicking, things start rolling, companies reach out, and yeah, I do make a little bit here and there. I used to make it quite a bit with my website doing giveaway crap, but I don't know, that needs to come back. I actually have a bow that I'm gonna give away, and it's sitting at Jared's house, so hanging right up above his head.
Actually,
I think I'm planning that one. We are gonna do, I think, an epic giveaway, probably on Haxon/Bow Nerds, to kind of kickstart it. So if people don't know,
you heard it here, guys. So now he has to do it.
Yeah, I've got not basically. That thing is had one shoot out of it at TAC. I did a TAC round with that bow, and that is it.
You shot it enough to tune it and sight it in, and then you shot TAC.
That's it. That's a brand new RVX 32. And it's dope. It's the King's Camo fade to black riser.
It's sharp.
sick bow. So I'm trying to figure out the analytics on how we're going to do a giveaway of that, but that bow is going to be given away. I think we're going to keep a dialed Arxos on it, so that's a big deal. We'll just keep it set up. I probably won't do the one that's on it. I have a different one I'm going to do.
Yeah, because wasn't that one like the prototype from way?
The body of it, yes,
on it.
but I put a different scope on it. So that scope has the and I like the 10, so I'm going to keep that one, and I'll put the point ones.
Yeah,
which is not that big of a difference, but I don't know. I like tiny pins. Speaking of,
so do I.
Bro, the horizontal dialed.
Yeah, I told Chase to call you because he was trying to decide between horizontal and vertical. Here we go. This is a topic we're going to talk about.
So
I'm a vertical guy.
Here's me with a vertical pin. I hold it to the left of the bullseye because I have to see it, and I always hit left. So technically, my bow is sighted in to the right because I'm holding it off like natural. And I don't know what it is. I can't get over the mind game. I hold the vertical pin to the left. Horizontal pins, for some stupid reason, I can hold it right on the dot and it doesn't mess with my brain. And I think it's because I can have a horizontal line to go off of. So like on an animal, same thing. I can see the whole body, even though I've got 5 pins and people think that might be crowded. Mentally, it's just how my brain works. And maybe it's because I shot 20 years with freaking horizontal and only the last 4 years with a vertical. So I went back to my comfort zone, I guess.
Yeah, the funny thing is my opinions are the exact opposite, which goes to show you, seriously, people, what works for you, right? If you find something that works for you, run it.
Yes.
Just because Brax says one thing or I say something, that doesn't mean anything, right? He shoots Prime, I shoot Matthews. That doesn't mean don't go shoot a Hoyt. Go. You find something that works for you, go with it. So I like the vertical because I like having that pin to run right down behind the shoulder. So I know for sure, left and right wise, I don't have the issue of holding off the side of the spot or the side that I'm aiming. Like, for example, on that cows deer. It just sounds weird saying cows. It's
coos. It's coos.
The coos
the technical
deer,
name is cows. It's coos. It's coos.
When I'm coming down, because I come down on a target, right? I try to draw as just on target as I can. I'm not one that like swings up and down, and you can see it in one of the angles of the videos. It's pretty cool. But I do come down a little bit on target, and I use that vertical pin to essentially watch this. You ready? This is going to be an incredible drawing. I had a pen and piece of paper for some reason, and
it was for this. I know you prepped for this.
so, isn't that great?
So
look at that.
If you're watching the video, you've got to pay attention.
Yeah,
if you're on audio, you got to watch the video after this.
Yeah. So what it is that vertical pin, I use it right behind that shoulder, just off that crease like a rib. And I know for sure left and right, that's exactly where I'm going to go. So then when my fiber optic gets to where I want it to be, then I start executing my shot. And for me, that's why I like the vertical pin.
How was it aiming below the coos deer though, or basically bottom of brisket?
Weird. That was weird. It was still the same concept because I still dropped with that vertical line right off that, like 1 or 2 ribs off of shoulder. So I still came down using that and had no issue. But it was weird aiming that low on an animal.
Yeah, I mean,
it was just I had to trust it.
Yeah, and I, like mentally, I'm so glad that we talked about it, prepping for that.
Oh yeah, a lot.
And I know we talked about this in the last episode. Like, know the animals that you're hunting, understand their body, understand their habits of, a coos deer is way freaking faster at dropping than a muley. Or, a whitetail, same thing. They dump. And that was a big thing moving out here in Tennessee is like, I hear about it and I have seen videos and stuff. And so like the first few that I killed out here aimed, it was like bottom of the heart because it's only where I've been shooting. It was like 28, 29 yards. It might be it's the back porch.
Yeah.
But like they drop, and the sucky thing is that sometimes they don't drop, and that is a good example of my wife shot one, and she's shooting 40 pounds, like maybe 38, 40 pounds, something like that, with pretty light arrow. But I mean, she's a freaking dead shot, like stupid accurate. I'm thinking, okay, this bow's a little slower. It's going to take a second. That doe is definitely going to drop. So I told her, I was like, okay, aim. I showed her pictures of deer and prepped her before she ended up shooting. Okay, this is where you're going to aim on a whitetail. This is why. She understood, did the assignment perfectly, which I learned the reason why this. I'll go into that. She hit a little bit low, money like heart shot, just a touch low. Still got into the cavity, like tucked right behind the shoulder. I got it all on film. I shared it on my Instagram. It's somewhere on there. So if you want to see the video, go on there and search for it. And nothing but gut came out. It was pure guts. And I sent it to Jared. I was like, dude, what the F just happened? Like, how in the world is guts coming out? There was not a drop of blood on the arrow. There was no blood on the ground. There was guts on the ground. And we never recovered that deer. We couldn't find her. Well, I just did watch a video. I want to say it was on TikTok, actually, like 2 days ago. Someone was explaining it. Somebody did the same thing. Big buck in Texas. They shot same spot, same exact shot, guts everywhere, no blood. And I was like, okay. And they went into explanation. It's old does. So what happens with an old doe is their guts push further up and actually push their organs deeper into the cavity. So it's like way more forward than what you would think.
Really?
Yeah. So they showed like the age of their deer, and the doe that my wife shot, it was probably had to have been a decently old deer, like maybe 5. She was a big old Betty. And I think that could be the one that you shot too and had that same experience. I don't know if yours was a buck
crazy.
Or was it a doe?
Yeah, it was a buck.
It was a buck.
It was a buck. Yeah.
And he was
It
young.
wasn't old. Yeah. he
So
wasn't
maybe that theory's bad.
Yeah. No. I don't know. It could be a number of things. I mean, really.
Yeah.
But I mean, I'm no biologist, so I can't really say, but
yeah, because I shot 10 does in that same spot this year, and they all died. Well, one of them was a little low, and I didn't find her, unfortunately. But that was a big thing I had to learn, is aiming low.
Yeah.
Time out. You're glitching again.
Why does that happen? It's like
it happens at like 25 minutes every time.
My mic gets tired.
Leave me alone.
It's like, come on. Stop spitting on me. Is that better?
Yeah.
Golly. But like Brax said, get to know the animals you're hunting. And then when you're about to take the shot, take a second to notice their demeanor and what they're doing and stuff like that. Because it could make or break your shot.
Yeah. Big thing I had to learn is this buffalo right behind me. Bison organs, their heart and stuff is way far forward than you would expect, especially just with the big hide, and their heart is tucked in way further. So you got to aim a lot lower and more forward than you would think. And I shot her what would be a perfect double lung shot on an elk, and literally hit nothing at all. When we cut her open, it hit nothing. She was fine, but I obviously got more arrows in her and got her. But like, I knew where to aim, but naturally I didn't take that, like you mentioned, I didn't take that last second of remembering what it is. I just went with it was a very quick scenario that happened. But yeah,
I need to go back and watch that film.
Dude, I do go back and I watch it every once in a while, and and the thing with taxidermy is anytime I walk here into my office and have to look at her, I remember how hard. I mean, I'm talking harder than I've ever worked on any hunt. It was the worst winter Utah has had, I think, ever. And The snow levels were insane. The bison were not where they should have been. And I had highs and lows. I missed a monster bull at 5 yards. When I made a bad shot on her, we gave her overnight. She was still alive the next day. We tracked her for 18 miles. Finally got it done on the last day. And like having the taxidermy, like mentally, my dad brought this up the other day, just doing my own business stuff. He's just like, treat your business like you treated that buffalo hunt. Just don't stop. And I do credit some stuff to my guides as well as Isaac. I can't remember what he renamed his arrow company, but it's a new name. It used to be Method Archery, but it's something else now. He was my camera guy, and he like after she ran after I shot her the next day, she ran away from us, and I tried to catch up, couldn't catch up, and I mean I was down, and he just looked at me. He's like, "Dude, it's okay. We got this. Like, we're not giving up." And in my head, I'd already given up. But at the same time, I was like, no, because on this hunt, when you draw blood, that's you can't. Legally, you cannot get another bison. And so that's why I was so down, like knowing this could be it. I punch my tag if I don't get her. You're right. And so just the not giving up part. So anyway, yeah, another side note. Yeah, just having taxidermy to remember these things. And
we're just squirreling today.
Squirrel, dude. It's a good lighthearted conversation.
Have a plan, just so you guys know.
No, we got a plan, man. This is a boner.
But these are just nerding out about hunts and archery and telling stories, and that's what it's about, man. It's pretty fun. I did make a post the other day, just for kicks and giggles, asking for some topic ideas.
Let's hit those. I like them.
Should we hit one? Or
absolutely.
A couple?
Yeah.
How many you want to hit?
Start with one. We'll just work our way down.
Okay. This one, I'm not sure what this guy meant by this, but I have an idea of what he means. So Andrew asked, talk through practice setups and routines. So
I've got some ideas.
I don't know if what he means by practice setup, as in like our equipment, or which we can talk about obviously, or practice setup as in like how we set up our targets and stuff like that, or where we shoot.
I'll say the importance of practicing scenarios. So
yeah,
shooting standing, shooting sitting, shooting kneeling, shooting on your butt, because Jared shot his coos sitting on his freaking butt. Like shooting all instead of having a perfect stance on a target, I'll purposely like be facing away from the target and totally kinked. Yeah, shooting off on one wheel. Totally like twisted my whole body and shoot that way, because it is different. You have to think about your form, make sure all of your anchoring points are the same. Shooting on hills, checking your bubbles, shooting uphill, downhill, side hill. Targets at different heights. So like if you have a block target sitting on the ground, even if you raise it up 5 feet, that makes a difference at 20 yards, 30 yards, 100 yards, whatever it is. Shooting through grass, shooting through a tree gap if you have the opportunity.
Yeah. Shooting over a horizon.
Shooting over that.
The target's behind a horizon, you got to trust the arc of the arrow, right?
Tack's a good one for that.
Tack is amazing for that. See, so many different scenarios. I like to really shoot in all different weather conditions.
Yeah.
It's not fun when you see your trees blowing over, but just like that Arizona hunt, I mean, you're going to have to shoot in that stuff, and you need to know your equipment well enough to be able to execute a shot, or know that I can't shoot past 20 yards today, but we can shoot 20 yards today, right? So I love shooting in the snow, the rain, when it's 100 degrees out, especially with a handheld.
That's hard. Sweaty hands.
You wouldn't think it'd make so much of a difference, but I mean, your end of August, September hunting, I mean, it's hot. Trying to shoot in all the different weather conditions. Before the Arizona hunt, obviously it was way colder here in Utah, but it was in the teens and single digits out here, and I was shooting with gloves on because I thought, so do I. But if it's cold enough out there, I want to know that I can execute a shot.
Yeah.
wearing gloves. Like I wear those thin XKG gloves from Kings.
Yeah.
I don't remember the name of them, but they're super thin, but they keep my hands warm enough.
I think you need a new
And they
pair.
don't.
I saw a few holes in those.
Yeah,
If you
I think it's
used,
from my trekking poles. It's because they just rub the whole time when I
what
use
was
my
that?
trekking
One more time.
poles. Yeah, I'm not gonna do that again.
This is the Bone Nerds podcast.
Oh, jeez, Louise. The
That
best
one,
thing I can
that
say
one was
is,
for Chase.
yeah, it was. There you go. But, God.
Where were we?
Anyways, practice like you play, I guess, and to sum it all up. And one thing I wanted to touch on is a lot of people want to shoot an 80-pound bow. And if you cannot draw an 80-pound bow sitting on your butt with your legs straight out in front of you without,
Do it. Hey,
don't do it.
and I'll tell you what, I used to shoot an 80-pound bow and had zero problems. Zero problems. I could pull it back, sit on my butt the other day. So I've been shooting my prime RVX. It's at 70. The other day I grabbed my Hoyt that's 80. Bro.
A little
My
spicy.
gosh. I was like, I'm going to die. I'm going to break this. Like something's going to happen. I can't pull this thing back. I got it back, but like comfortably, I couldn't shoot it right now. Not at all. And so practicing with, if you are shooting 80, practice, shoot 1,000 arrows freaking a day to get that strength up. Practice. And then yeah, you can hunt with an 80, but don't pick it up once a year and expect to be able to shoot it.
If you can't pull whatever draw weight you're pulling back smooth, you shouldn't be shooting it. I can't tell you how many times when I was working at the bow rack, how many people would come in and they missed an opportunity on an elk that was coming in because they're like, let's just say the weather was cold, right? And they got this 80-pound bow and they're sitting there and the elk comes in and dude, they're either too excited or they're too cold to pull back the bow. It's like, so was the 80-pound worth it? No.
You could kill that bull with
Ted
a
Nugent
50-pound
kills
bow.
everything with a 50-pound bow.
Yeah. So it's not worth missing those opportunities.
Yeah.
Another
I
thing
shoot 80 pounds because this bow, like I hold way better with 80 pounds.
Yeah,
So
but
I'm
you're
sure if
also
I shot
Hulk.
70 with, well, no, I just been shooting a long time.
I know. It truly does not matter how big you are. It's a different muscle than like what you're working out in the gym. So like I've had some big buddies like size of Jared try to pull back my 80-pound bow and they can't, and they feel stupid, but like it's a different muscle. It is.
Oh, 100%.
When you don't work it out. Yeah.
This is another story at the bow rack. It just reminded me of this. And I don't know if any of these guys will listen to this. They probably won't, but we had this one meathead guy come in. He wanted to buy a bow. I think he said something along the lines of, I want the heaviest one you got. And we're like, have you ever shot a bow? Yeah. He's like, no, I just want the heaviest one you got. And we're like, okay. So we just grabbed like a 70-pound bow, handed it to him. I'm pretty sure we had to crank that thing down to like 50 pounds before he could pull it. And dude, this dude was just roided out and yoked. And it's like, that's pretty comical.
Yeah, it really is a different muscle.
That takes time to build.
Yeah, start with 50, hit 60, go to 70, graduate to 80.
Yeah.
Became hands and go to 90. Come on.
Yeah, I don't think I could pull a 90-pound bow back.
Dude, I built one at 96 one time. Needless to say, I'm surprised that bow didn't blow up, but I cranked it down and I could get like 5 arrows out of it before I couldn't pull it back anymore.
Yeah. Well, that's the other thing. Like, you shoot a poundage that's too high and you can only get 5 to 10 arrows out a day.
Yeah.
What fun is that?
Like, not at all. You need to be able to literally shoot 500 arrows in a day and be fine.
Yeah.
Right. I do that all the time.
Yeah, that'd be the goal.
We should do that. We should do like something I've always wanted, like Easton, the sponsor, because I can't afford to buy this many arrows, to like have a target and just have like 1,000 arrows and never pull one of the arrows out of the target. Just
keep hammering the target.
Just blowing
See how many
arrows
Robin
up.
Hoods you get.
So Easton, if you're listening,
hey Cody,
I need 100 dozen.
Oh gosh. So
I think another thing is practicing with your broadheads on, because I mean the nice thing though with severs that both of us shoot, I've never had them not shoot the way my field tips do, which is nice. But always knowing and ensuring that your gear is doing exactly what it should, that there's not some fluke thing, right? So nice thing with the severs is there is a little set screw. You can use the exact head that you're gonna hunt with and put the set screw in, take off the little rubber band so that's not on there, throw the set screw and shoot. And it doesn't deploy, doesn't dull the blades. And that's one that was probably back a couple, 2-3 years ago when I started shooting sever. That was the number one thing that was so like the selling point for me, because I had shot a couple different mechanicals and stuff, but you had to have a practice head. You had to have a different head. And I don't know if it's just me overthinking it, but just you buy a 3-pack and you get one practice head. I want all 3 to be able to shoot in the target. I don't want one arrow at a time.
Exactly.
So that is a nice thing with Sever that was by far the number one selling point for me.
I love being able to put it into practice mode. However, the tolerances from head to head with Sever is so tight that I usually only practice with like 2. And just leave them in practice mode all the time, and then just save my other ones for hunting. But you can, like Braxton said, switch back and forth. Just remember, please, to take out the set screw. Take it out if you're going to hunt with that head.
Yes, very important.
And clean it out too, because the foam gets stuck in between the blades and stuff. So just do your due diligence and pay attention to what you're doing.
Yeah, absolutely. Nonchalant little shout out. If you do want Sever, and I believe this is a killer discount that I don't know if it's anywhere out there. It was 10.
We haven't had that.
No.
Yeah.
This was the first time. So we just got a new code, BONERD, and it's, what was it, 10% off?
10%.
And I want to say the last one was like $1 a head.
I think you just got
$5 off or something.
$5 off your order.
So 10%
off. 10% off.
That's big.
Yeah, and that's BOWN.
Boner. BONERD. And yeah, so 10% off your order with Sever. And the nice thing too is you get to pick and choose how many you want. You want to buy one head, buy one head. You want to buy 10, you can buy 10, and they send it to you as, your own package. You're not set to a 3-pack, 6-pack, 4-pack, 1-pack, whatever the amount that you want, which I don't really know of any other company that does that.
Yeah, I don't think so.
And
so
dude,
that's definitely a huge benefit.
Yeah. The absolute carnage that these things, the new hybrids especially, like having that little bleeder blade has.
I was impressed. That was the first animal I've killed with them, and I think you've killed some does with them. But
I've killed a couple does, and there was one that I didn't make the best shot. She turned and jumped the string, and it kind of hit her far back. She made it 10 yards. And all it was liver, and bled out like so freaking fast. And yeah, I was very impressed. That was the first one that I shot with the new hybrid. And that was like the, so to say, testing ground. I was like, okay, I unfortunately made a bad shot because she jumped the string. So Jared's now showing a photo of, can't say which head it is, but it might have been a hybrid.
That's the bleeder of the hybrid right there. And this is the main blade.
Okay.
See that?
Yeah.
There?
Yeah, I never looked at it that close. That's pretty sick.
Sick.
That buck.
Pretty good shot, I must say.
Killer shot. Straight through the heart.
Shot to the heart. Yeah. Sorry.
What's next on the docket? Question. I feel like we answered that pretty well.
Next one. Yeah, I think so. I wanted to add on there real quick, just like what I said, practice like you play. I shoot with my quiver on. I shoot with my hunting stabilizer. I shoot everything that I shoot with a full quiver all the time. If anything, I shoot with one missing, even to make it exactly like the scenario. So yeah, that's
smart.
Another little tip also. Here we go. Where are we at? Screenshot. We won't dive into that one yet. That one's deep. That might be for the mental health one. Oh, So we just came off of an out of state hunt, so this one will be good. You want to cover this one? You know what question I'm talking about. How to prepare, be prepared for out of state hunts, gear, etc., or how to scout for out of state hunts. So this is obviously definitely a multi-part question. So let's cover how to prepare for an out of state hunt.
Yeah, that. So I think a good example. I mean, yeah, we just did our outer state hunt, but I had done that one prior personally, so I kind of knew what to expect. But one that comes to mind was my Colorado elk. I had never been to the state, had no idea where to freaking go, and I reached out to a bunch of just different people that I knew had been out there. Obviously, people aren't going to send you all the time. Some people do where their spots are, send you pins. And we actually, while we were out there, we shot a bull first day and then could not get on any other elk, couldn't find elk. So what we did is literally joined Colorado Facebook pages. Guys, these are a secret gold mine. You have these people that, I'm not joking, you will send you honey holes for no reason. It is the funniest thing. I don't know. I don't know who's on Facebook sending
There's
their honey holes.
good people.
There's good people. There are some good people. And so we joined all of these Facebook groups and just said, "Hey, we're out here. We're not finding elk." It was a tough year. Does anyone know where they're rutting? Does anybody know where we'd be able to find something, right? And we got on the phone with this random gentleman that I don't even recall what his name was, and he sent us to a whole nother spot. Unfortunately, we didn't get it done, but there was so much elk sign. There was the elk in there. It was a bad week. The next week, we had a buddy go in there, same exact spot, killed 2 bulls in 45 minutes. And just there are so many people willing to share. So I think like that's a first step. Another step is literally calling the state and just asking, where they're saying. That was another thing. We did call the state, like DNR officers. We found,
Biologists.
yeah, we found a biologist because you have to check in, or I don't know if you have to check them in Colorado, but they were going around checking them in on the mountain. So we stopped and talked to this lady, and this was after we killed this one bull, and she was like, "This has been the hardest year in the last few years. The bulls are not where they typically are. There's been a lot more pressure right there where we were." So she's like, "You guys need to go either higher or lower, not really where you're at." So just not being afraid to ask. Yeah, you might have some people that are pretty pissed if you ask them where to hunt, but you'll find the
Yeah.
good people.
Yeah, people get pretty sensitive when you start asking questions like that. I've noticed, and it's definitely, especially as of late, we ran into some really really good genuine people that just like to see people getting out there and getting successful and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But that's a great tip for sure. What about like clothing? How did you know what to bring for clothing?
I use my Onyx for weather because it's going to give you weather like right on top of the mountain. I don't ever go to like the nearest town or city because typically there's 2 to 1,000 feet elevation, especially in Colorado, difference between a city and the top of the mountain where you're going to be hunting. So I'll drop a pin where I'm planning on going, check the weather, and it will give you way cooler weather or whatever. Um, and I do always, even if there's no rain in the forecast, I always prep for rain. So I take my rain gear. I've got my XKG Paramount rain gear from Kings, and I will pack that around and never use it. And I'm never mad about it because I
Yeah,
know
and that's
that,
light. I mean, that's light enough. You really don't even
yeah,
hardly notice that stuff,
yeah,
anyways.
yeah. And it's so much more worth it than carrying around a poncho. I've used a poncho and you still get soaked. They're a mess, floppy in the wind. Just it's impossible to use. Always prep. I mean, I took it down to Arizona. There was no rain in the forecast. It didn't even think about raining while we were there until the last day. I guess it snowed. And then I typically just do like a layering system. So I make sure I've got my merino for my base layers. King's got the sick zip offs for your bottom marine layer.
Those are a game changer.
Yeah, so freaking amazing.
So you don't have to take off your boots or your pants all the way to get your long johns on and off, which is so nice, especially if the ground's wet.
Yeah. And to answer the question that's going to come up with that is, does the zipper hurt, bother you, push into your skin?
I've never noticed it.
Never has. It's a, what you say, a little capri type size. So it's shorter. It doesn't go all the way down to your ankle.
Just above your boot
mid calf. Yeah. And so I've never been bugged by it. So I'll do that and then make sure, a couple sweatshirt type things, zip offs typically, just because it's easier to take on and off. And then the what's the mid puffy one called?
Transition flex.
The transition flex. Yeah, that is way warmer than it probably should be. So that is typically enough. You have like a base layer and then maybe a small something like this grid fleece for mountain ops I'm wearing, something like that, and then a zip up hoodie, and then the transition flex. And then I always do pack my big puffy for glassing sessions.
Yeah.
In all reality, in August, sometimes you still need it in the high country. Like I typically always have
into something like this.
Very small.
Another thing that it's worth its weight in gold.
Yeah. I'm excited to possibly get their new big puffy that's waterproof and like rip proof. Yeah.
Cade should get that.
Yeah, dude. Freaking big bird. So normal puffies, you don't hike. You just they're your glassing outfit. Puffy pants.
They're not
puffy
built
jacket.
for toughness.
No, they have to be light and
fluffy.
They got to be light enough for the fluff, for the down to expand and create that insulation layer. So you can't have like a heavy shell layer or else it's just going to compact and it's not going to be warm, right? Well, Mr. Cade, he loves walking around.
It looks like you took a cheese grater to it.
What's funny is I gifted those to him. So he's not out anything if they shred. No. And yes, I did buy that pair. I did spend like $400 or $500 on that thing.
Yeah.
So it was really funny to just watch
nice
him.
Of you.
That was very nice of me.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. Both of our trucks just full of feathers.
So funny, dude. That was his windicator. That was how he knew which way the wind was blowing.
That's what he said. He's like, he's pulled that little feather.
So needless to say, try to take care of your gear a little bit. That way it lasts a little longer and you're not fluffing out.
Yeah.
I always overpack, I think, pants wise.
I definitely overpack.
Yeah. I usually use all the tops, but like pants, I expect to like change my underwear on a hunt. Yeah, that does not happen. A week, same pair? Yeah.
Well, you wear them normal, and then you can flip around backwards, and you wear them inside out normal, and then inside out backwards. That's 4 days. And by the other time, those merino wools, they've refreshed, so then you just go right back.
Gives you a little Fermundo, but other than that, it's good.
Yeah, it's fine. Just kidding. We change our underwear. I do get probably, depending on how much we hike, I usually get probably 3 days out of a pair of pants too.
For sure. Like the AZ hunt,
hammered, but
it was mainly dust. And like I typically like to switch it up, especially like just making content, not wearing the exact pair of pants. So I'm not the best like example for that. One that I love, I'm actually currently wearing right now, is the Black Ovis pants. Those pretty sick.
They're comfortable.
Yeah, solid.
It's a cool color.
I love the color. Yeah.
So
I actually.
You're not going to show them. Why don't you show the people?
Stand up.
Yeah, stand on your chair and give us a spin, bro. No, I'm kidding.
I can't remember the name of them. I actually just emailed Adam about it. I was telling him how much I freaking love him, and I spilled, I don't know if it was bacon grease or oil or something, so I got like a big spot, and I still wear them just to work or whatever. So he sent me a new fresh pair so they can be clean.
Nice. There you go. So what about scouting out of state?
Scouting's tough.
I have one tip towards the end of this about the whole scouting thing, or I'll just say it right now. So with scouting, especially like e-scouting is huge right now. Onyx is an incredible tool. Especially, I love using the 3D feature. I mean,
Yes.
it's.
My
I
gosh.
mean, it feels like you're there.
Yeah.
And I love using the 3D feature. If I have service, I love using the 3D feature before a stock.
Mm-hmm.
Because then that gives you an even closer view of kind of what you're going to be seeing over there. But one thing with the e-scouting thing, have an A to F plan, because it's highly likely that A through E is going to not work out. I mean, you show up to A, there's going to be 10 people there. You show up to B, it's closed. You show up to C, it was caught on fire right before you got there or something. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Have plans, because you don't want to burn and waste time on an out-of-state hunt, because you're limited on time. Usually most people go 5 days to maybe 8 or 9 days. We went 9 days, which is a long time for an out-of-state hunt, longer than I've ever done for an out-of-state hunt. You're crunched for time, and you don't want to be wasting time finding plan F, right?
Mm-hmm.
You want to be like, okay,
Yeah.
we check this. There's nothing there. Check it off. Let's go to the next one, which ties into being mobile, right?
Mm-hmm.
We ended up staying at camp for quite a few days, but we were seeing deer. But we had the ability, which we did the last couple of days.
Sorry, I don't mean to interrupt.
Is my mic doing it again? Team.
I think I'm gonna send you a new mic. Wow, that one was rough. What are we doing? What are we doing? We got a new microphone. Oh my gosh. Okay, it's good. It was quite a buzz there for a minute.
I feel like Christina Aguilera with this shiny little. Okay.
Please
Anyways,
start singing.
so we had the ability to be mobile, right? We had the canvas cutters. We didn't have much gear. We packed up camp within 30 minutes and then moved across the unit. So having the ability to be mobile is huge, and don't be afraid to move. I mean, we had a really good stock the day before we moved, so I can't say that I kind of wish that we would have moved sooner. But if we had another day or two in the spot we went to, I think the trip would have turned out a lot different.
Yeah, and I feel like there's a fine balance with giving a spot some time, as well as don't be afraid to move, right? The spot we went, I was familiar with. We knew pockets, and we were seeing deer every single day, all day. And so like we didn't really have an issue, getting on deer, finding deer. But literally the first time that we went out for the evening and did not see a single deer, that's when we all looked at each other and said, time to move.
Let's go.
Like we put in the time, but we recognized it is time to go. Yes, we could have probably sat there and probably found deer the next day. We had hunted that place pretty hard and stalked a lot of deer. And so it was probably the first decision we were on that hunt that everybody was on the exact same page at the exact same time, just like time to move. And I think it just comes down to experience in knowing when enough is enough.
Yeah, exactly.
And that was what, days 6?
6 or 7, yeah.
7, 6, 7. And I literally we were in that spot the entire like that one canyon for that long.
Yeah.
We bounced around to some areas, but like the majority of our time was right freaking there. Which there was deer. There was good bucks.
There was obviously a good coos buck that was still roaming around there. Mr. Bow Disciples.
Yeah, old James got her done.
Congrats on that there, James.
Yeah, freaking
91 and 5/8?
Yeah, stud buck.
That was awesome. But
yeah, I think that, and sometimes you just got to gamble, Just I feel like people get analysis paralysis where they don't do an out-of-state hunt because it's out of their comfort zone to go to a whole new area, explore. Yeah, the first year you might go and get completely skunked, right? Where you don't see anything, but you check something off the list of probably where not to go. You understand the country a little bit more. Yeah, it sucks to like put in the time and money into learning, but that's the only time
Yeah.
or the only way you're going to learn. And so I wouldn't go out with like insane expectations ever, and just go out because you enjoy hunting, you enjoy being in the mountains, you enjoy
Yeah, in worst
carrying your
case,
bow around.
you get the logistics figured out because
Hmm.
sometimes that's half the battle.
Yeah, yeah, that's a good point. Yeah, yeah. Hopefully that kind of answers it. What else we got?
We can
We
do
can do
another
it.
one.
Let's do one
I'm
more.
gonna wrap it up. One more.
Let's do one more.
What do we have here? This one would take. That's for a whole nother episode. This one I feel like could be a pretty quick one. Mason Malone.
I love Mason. Good dude.
He's a good dude. Talk about terrains and environment you guys like to look for / hunt.
Ooh,
Flat. I'm kidding.
I don't think we've ever hunted something flat, especially if Cade's with us.
That's true. Yeah. Terrain wise, like trying to find places of cover for bedding, and then places where they're feeding, usually in the open type stuff like that, and then trying to locate water. For me, I feel like locating water, especially in hot environments, is a priority. Um, so that's something I definitely look for, especially, hunting season opens up pretty early in August here for deer and elk. So I feel like if you're able to locate a good water source, especially if it's being used by animals,
Yeah,
I think that that's a big component.
yeah, yeah, and yeah, understanding seasons, right? So your early season, August, beginning September, it's hot. These animals are going to be in the shade 90% of the day. They're going to be, on those certain slopes, right? Like pay attention to the slopes where the sun is, where the sun isn't. Wind directions, because they're going to bed with their back typically to the wind, their face looking downwind. So they got their eyes and then they've got their nose coming in from behind. I mean, that's obviously not every single time, but a lot of the times. And understanding thermals, so like the terrain you're looking at, that is going to depict on what those thermals are going to be doing, where you can approach a certain area, how to approach it, what time you should approach it. There's a few people that do showcase videos very well where they'll find a bull up on a hill and realize thermals are going up. They can't go after it until, later in the afternoon or whatever, when
Or even the
something's,
next day.
or yeah, even the next day. Don't be afraid to like not push it. Like
Mm-hmm.
be patient and do your due diligence. And that was something I learned the last few years, is how freaking important that wind is, and thermals,
Yeah.
and the terrain has a huge part in that. Like the last time we were on, we were 70 yards from a buck and the wind was insane due to all of the fingers that were coming in, all these little tiny cuts, and it looks flat from afar, but you come in and there's tons of cuts cut up, and that wind was in every direction. So try to find where you're going to have an opportunity. Don't push it. And then, yeah, like you said, water sources, food sources. If it's during the rut, you're hunting elk, look for those wallows, look for maybe the timber that they're going to be in, or if there's some meadows that they're going to be passing through first thing in the morning, late season stuff. Like if it's going to depend on snowpack, if they're going to be up high, down low, you really have to pay attention to, like, it's different every season. You're going to go to a spot one year and there's going to be a ton of animals. Go back there the next year and it's a harsh winter, there's not going to be anything because they got pushed down into the valleys. Or the next one, there's no snow, so they're at the tip tops of the mountains in the late season. So I don't really have a certain terrain that I necessarily look for. It's more of, okay, I'm hunting here, how can I hunt this terrain,
Yeah.
right?
How can I use this terrain to my advantage?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Right.
Cliff shots.
Yeah. Cliff shots. But to touch on the thermals thing, be aware of the specific area you're going to be hunting in and focus on the thermals in that area. Because where we were by our camp, I feel like the thermals were doing the exact opposite I would expect them to be doing for the specific time of day.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Because
That's true.
when the hillside was hot, theoretically, thermals should go up.
It was coming
They
down.
were always going down. So just be aware of that. And like Brax said, like different fingers and stuff, they play a role in what the thermals will be doing. I don't do a great job of this, and I'm working on getting better at it. Don't be afraid to back out.
Yeah. Yeah.
Usually, most of the time, I just push through and then end up blowing the stock, and they're gone forever. It's true, but I'm trying to get better at it.
I
So,
feel
like,
like
if
there's a balance in everything, right? Sometimes you do have to be aggressive. Sometimes. If we would have been aggressive on that buck that we had, who knows? The wind was swirling. We backed out, right?
yeah, we actually did, yeah.
Yeah, we backed out 20, 30 yards and sat further back because that wind was so bad. So, yeah, it didn't work out. No, we didn't blow them out, but maybe it would have worked if we would have pushed. But you don't know these things, and so we know for a fact that they're not going to blow out if we don't push, right? So that's the chance you're taking is it's a different opportunity.
Yeah, I agree.
So, yeah, I think it's just important to learn what terrain does to wind, to thermals, to shade, to sun, water, food. The terrain changes it
Another
all.
thing is I just thought of is don't be so stubborn in your tactics. Right?
Yeah.
Brax has a story from a hunt he went on. You get dead set on I have to kill this animal this way, right? Like
Yeah.
you don't have to. Like if you sit back and think about what's happening and what's going on, you're probably more likely to kill this animal a different way,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah. And
You
that
know what I'm talking about.
yeah, yeah, yeah. I'll never forget that. This is a good story. I won't shout him out, but I was on a elk hunt, giant freaking bull that we found. He's easily 350, 360, and it was kind of pre-rut, big lone bull. He wanted nothing to do with anything, right? He was in this pocket solo by himself and wasn't giving off any signs of wanting to bugle or fight or anything. And we caught him at first thing in the morning. He went down this ravine. It had just gotten done raining, like right before light. He went down, went up and over. And I got on my Onyx. I checked his path. I checked the topography, found a pocket that was just on the other side that would be in the shade, hidden down in this little valley. The wind was probably in his face, which way he would want to be bedding. And I looked at the hunters. I was not personally hunting, and I looked at him. I was like, I think if we again, this is first thing in the morning. So it was like, if we take the next 9 hours of light and go stupid slow following this bull's tracks, because again, it would just got done raining that morning, clear as day. We went down to his tracks, clear as day, just so easy to follow. I'm like, this bull's going to be bedded right here. I dropped a pin. This is where he's going to be. So all we have to do, very, very slow. Yes, he's probably going to be looking at his backtrack. But if we go slow enough and glass and look through stuff, we're going to probably see his antlers popped up somewhere before he sees us. And they were stuck. No, we've got to bugle this bull in. We've got to bugle this bull in. And I kept saying, like, this is your hunt. You do what you want to do. But bull is not coming into a bugle. We can do that. It's your hunt. But I think the way we're killing this is stalking, ambushing, or not ambushing, stalking, following his tracks.
Almost still hunting type.
Yeah, very, very, very slow tactic. But they wanted to bugle, which was fine. I went with it. I wasn't hunting. So we backed out, went all the way around, massive loop, and got where we knew that he could possibly start working his way. Sat there all afternoon because he was bedded because it was hot, very, very hot that day. We sat and sat and sat finally, kind of early evening was coming along, and they were like, "Okay, let's rip a bugle, see if we can get him." They ripped a bugle. That bull stood up and walked directly away from us and said, "Nope, I ain't having this." And so we went over to where his bed was, literally within like 10 feet of where I dropped a pin of where I was guessing. And again, it could have been luck, could have been a little bit of skill, could have whatever, and just experience. I just knew that bull, he was too old, too smart to call in at that time of year. Maybe if the rut was in full swing, that's a different story. So yeah, that one eats me alive. Yeah, I didn't have the tag or anything, but like just knowing for a fact that I was right eats me. So I'm like, we would have just freaking done this. It was like a perfect little knoll you would have popped over. He was better than this little cove. Oh, would have been a 20-yard just chip shot on a giant freaking bull. But that was the last day too, so that was hard pill to swallow, I think.
Yeah, no doubt. But yeah, moral of the story: don't be stuck in your tactics. Use everything, all the tools in your toolbox, to your advantage, because you're in their domain. You got to try to outsmart them.
Yeah. Yeah. And I mean, you learn in experiences. You fail a million times before you make that one connection.
Yeah.
It's don't be afraid to fail too, though. Like that was one thing I kind of learned on my buffalo hunt is it was a once in a lifetime tag. There was so much on the line. I had full film photographers and everything there. I had the guides. I had a shiz ton of money put into it to prep for it and have everything perfect. And like I put so much pressure on my shoulders because I knew for a fact I'd never have this tag again. And like I still enjoyed it and stuff, but at the same time I forgot just have fun doing it at
Yeah,
times.
it's tough. I
Yeah.
haven't had a once in a lifetime tag yet, so
It's a different vibe.
I'm a little nervous for it. And I've heard a lot of people talk about it.
Yeah.
So
Yours is going to be sick. That's going to be
you're coming here for that.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
So, which I should draw it here the next couple of years. So maybe you'll see a sweet old mountain goat from Utah here soon.
Dude, takes me back to the old like Deer Hunter on the PS2 I used to play. I used to go up in the freaking high country on that and smoke big old billies.
Right? But
Well, that was pretty good. That was a good episode.
yeah.
I liked it.
Yeah, there we go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think we answered some good questions. So,
Yeah. We appreciate you guys.
if you guys have questions or thoughts or subjects you guys want us to cover, shoot us a DM. We're going to answer. Honestly, I think we should just do a bunch of questions pretty frequently.
Yeah.
So if there's like a specific thing that you want our thoughts on, hit us up. I think it'd be good.
We'd love to do our best to answer with what knowledge we have.
Yeah. Yeah.
And if we don't know, then we know somebody who knows. So we'll figure it out for you
We'll
guys.
yeah. We'll get them on the podcast or something and have a master of that subject. Talk about it.
Exactly.
So we need to get some guests on here though.
Yes, we do.
Sooner than
So
later.
if you guys have suggestions on some guests want to get on here, throw that out there too. Just keep it realistic because obviously we're probably not gonna be able to get Joe Rogan on here yet.
Just yet.
Yeah.
No, yeah. Appreciate everybody's support. We've had a lot of warm welcomes back to getting at it on the podcast, and actually I had quite a few listens and stuff on Spotify, which is refreshing to see and exciting knowing that people actually want to listen to us. So I think that's going to be it for today, guys. If you haven't already, hit the subscribe button here on Spotify and or YouTube, and shoot us a message on if there's any questions you want us to answer, and we will catch you guys on the next one.
See you later.